Sometimes you're asked to evaluate a numerical expression like this one, where evaluating it directly simply uses numbers that are way too big to deal with. If you have a calculator, you have the option of evaluating it directly, but you'll find that the numbers you get are so unreasonably big, that's not the way to go. But it does work. You take 2 to the power 45, which is that huge number. The cube root of that is 32,768, and the fifth root of that is 8. That's all well and good, but I don't know about you. I could not have done that in my head. That's for darn sure. There is another way that we could proceed. Instead of doing it directly, we can use some useful facts about radicals and exponents. A third root like that, or a cube root like that, is the same as having a denominator of 3 in the power. So instead of 2 to the power of 45 and then cube root, it's the same thing as 2 to the power of 45 thirds, like that. And then 45 thirds, I can evaluate that directly. That's 15. And then we can apply the exact same trick again. That's 15 over 5. And then again, I can evaluate that. That would be 3. And then finally, now we can do the power of 2 very easily in our minds. That's 2 times 2 times 2. So that's going to have to be 8. So 2 different ways of doing it. Both ways are correct. But you can decide for yourself which way you think is easiest. Just for fun, here's the direct way. Once again, you have to calculate 2 to the power of 45. And then that's that. And then that's that. So you do get the same answer either way. But 2 to the 45, personally, I would have a bit of a hard time calculating that very large number. I am playing around with this algebra in this live setting using this desktop app that I'm making. It's called SimPlay. It uses Manim and my custom computer algebra system called MF Algebra. And you can use it to do all kinds of things. For example, if I go back to the, let me just go to the end here. Starting with the number 8, right? I can do anything I want to the number 8. For example, let's say I raise it to the power of 4. And then I divide it by 10. And then I take the cube root of that. And then I add 72. And then I how about instead of the power of 4, how about I grab just that power and I multiply that by a y, and then how about I set the whole thing equal to 1,000. Now I can do all kinds of things to this equation. Like I can swap it around. I can, divide both sides. Let's say I want to do something to both sides. Divide both sides by 6, just for example. And then I want to solve the equation, so I hit the solve button. It can automatically figure out the steps required to solve an equation like this one. That's a lot of steps, but it can do it. Here we go. So it automatically worked that out, and then now I can do it step by step. So first of all, we're going to want to take that denominator of 6, move it to the other side. Here's the interface that I got. Not the best presentation, but this is what we're doing. That's 1,000. Subtract 72. That's 72, or that's that. Cube both sides. That's that. Oh. Times 10. That's that. Log base 8. That's that. And this is a live scene, so I can do this, for example. Like, this is not like a pre-recorded thing, and I did not pick these numbers beforehand as like a pre-made thing. It's all working it out like on the fly. And then the last step is divide by 4. That's that. And then it prefers to put the variable on the left because that's how I said it. So it's like a place in which you can manipulate algebra in Manim in like a semi-automatic way. And then when you're ready, you can just I got it on an iPad here, but it doesn't have to be on an iPad. Maybe I should clarify that. And then just go to export, and then you can export it in a variety of formats, like an MP4 or a GIF or a HTML presentation or a PowerPoint presentation. You can even export it as pure Manim code if you want. So yeah, it's kind of a cool thing I'm working on. I think it's got a lot of potential as like a teaching tool for math teachers and stuff. It's still got a long way to go, but I think I'm kind of getting somewhere with it. And if you want to check it out, check out the link in the description or in my bio for more information. All right, take care.